After 30 hours of travel, checking into a hotel, and taking a quick nap, I finally step onto the streets of Kathmandu. I'm only here for a day. Tomorrow I'll be heading up to the Himalayas for a 10-day, 100-mile trek. I have spent weeks preparing for this expedition. It's another one of my eat, pray, love adventures. As I take my first steps outside the hotel, it hits me. I have completely forgotten to plan for my 24 hours in Nepal's capital. I can't even begin to think with swarms of passing vehicles buzzing like an orgy of mechanical cicadas, tasing my brain. My mind is spinning like the die in one of those fortune-telling magic 8-balls that won't stop. Then, a car pulls up. The windows roll down, revealing a Nepali man stretching over the center console, waving at me. In a squeaky, almost teen-like voice, he says, my friend, we're going." At first, I'm fucking pissed at his unabashed approach, but he's not wrong. I am trying to go somewhere. I simmer down, releasing the steam of agitation, which makes room for some thought. And suddenly, a glimmer of a guidebook page flashes. Almost spontaneously, my mouth starts to mumble. Pashu, no. Pashu. Excitedly, the Nepali driver interrupts me. Pashupatinath. Yeah, that's the one. I'm now fully confident. I approach the door and I'm about to ask him about the one-way fare when he just stops me. No. Not Pashupatinath. Bodies, dead bodies, burned. He wafts the air in front of his nose. Bhaktapur, Monkey Temple, much better, I show you. Hardly thinking it over, I gamble on the driver, hoping I'll end up at a must-see spot. Also, I really haven't had much success with life planning, so why not? How much could a one-way ride in Nepal even cost? So I get in. His name is Anil. He's a dark, thin man with short, gelled-back hair. He sports a bright yellow polo and a pair of those goggle-like sunglasses. I'm guessing Anil's slightly older than me, but he's kind of dressed like I did when I was 14. At that point in my life, I was trying to fit into a massive public school after spending my whole life wearing a uniform at a Jewish private school. Even there, amongst my people, my ethnic kin, I didn't feel like I belonged. It was around that time the seeds of my rebellion were sown, sprouting radically from a step cup to a spiky hair with bleached tips. As we drive, I feel a sting of sadness. I haven't traveled alone a whole lot as an adult. It's not that I haven't traveled. I've just always had someone at my side. I do enjoy traveling by myself, but I'm doing it by default because I have no family of my own. And it's moments like these, sitting in the back of a cab, halfway around the world, that I overbearingly focus on how my life has taken an entirely different path than my friends and relatives who all have kids. In a way, I'm still looking for the secret to life that everyone seems to know, just like when I was 14 years old. And at 35, instead of bleached tips and preppy polos, my hair is graying and I've got a wardrobe filled with lightly used gear from REI. From the back seat, I try to lose myself in the endless cycle of dirty streets and trash around unfinished slate buildings. Temples, white square structures with golden domes or scepters, interrupt the sullen sepia scene. Anil, what are those temples? How do you tell the Buddhist ones from the Hindu? Stupa, Anil says, pointing at the golden dome structure. Stupa Buddhist temple. In my travels, I don't want to be the silent, arrogant American who speaks only about the transaction, so I kind of talk. It also tilts the solitude from shackling rejection, melancholy, and shame to untapped freedom. So I keep the conversation going with Anil, even if it's just for this one-way drive. "Hey, Anil, are you Hindu or are you Buddhist?" He turns around for the first time in the whole ride and joyfully says, "I'm Christian. I love Jesus." Anil's Christian faith resonates with me not because I believe in Jesus being my savior. It's because Christianity is a religious minority in Nepal, and I come from a tiny ethno-religious Mexican Jewish community in America. Even though we speak different... Even though we speak different languages, live thousands of miles apart, and are currently sitting on opposite sides of the tourism table, it makes me trust him, thinking maybe we're somewhat similar on the inside. Plus, if he's the good kind of God-fearing kind of Christian, he's probably harmless, honest, and generous, right? Anil takes me to Bhaktapur, a preserved heritage district. He warns me of locals posing in Nepali guides selling 2-hour tours for $5 to $10, calling them total ripoffs. A man in a sweaty tank top with a homemade badge appears on cue as we approach the entrance. He offers an $8 tour, and as Anil predicted, and so choosing for me, Anil just drives on through. I think I like this guy. Anil then parks the car at the main plaza, turns off the car, exits, hands me a brochure, and says to return in 50 minutes. His direction kind of surprises me. Does he think I've hired him as a guide, or is he testing the waters, seeing how many rides he can get out of me? But after traveling for over a day, I'm tired. I can't think, and being driven around, not having to make any decisions sounds pretty good right now. Plus, I must be in good hands because he's already saved me some money. So I go along with it. I wander through Bhaktapur's shrines and streets. An orange-robed local waves me over and blows a conch. Pointing to my camera, I mime, asking if I can take pictures. He nods and starts blowing the conch again. I take a few pictures, but he stops and extends a panhandling palm. Surprised, I give him some change, but he looks disappointed, pissed, disgusted, and reaches out again. So I put my hands into a prayer position, bow, and duck out. I walk for 40 minutes, teetering between guilt and loneliness. And when I get back to the main square, Anil isn't where I left him. I'm flustered. I turn in every direction, hoping to see him, eventually spotting the giant face shield that is Anil's glasses. Anil hails me over. Let's go, Monkey Temple." I cackle and shrug, hop into the back of the cab with Anil, my now official tour guide for the next foreseeable bit. At Monkey Temple, Anil gives me another money-saving tip I unwittingly follow. He directs me up some stairs, and when I reach the top, I can see the entrance where a crowd of locals are filtering past the ticketing booth. This guy just sneak me into this palace? At Monkey Temple, there's no temple for monkeys. But there are macaques everywhere, taking candy from babies, literally. One hits a toddler's watermelon plate right in front of me. And before she can cry, the macaques goggle up the flying rosy cubes and run away with juice dripping from their faces. Mindful of these furry thieves, I reach into my pants pocket to check my wallet, but fuck, it's not there. My passport, credit card, and 2/3 of my $600 contingency fund are in the hotel security box. So that means a $200 wallet is probably between me and where I was dropped off. I can feel myself turning white. In the snowy Himalayas, fireplace warm tea houses do not accept Visa or Amex. So I need to find that money. I run to where Anil parked, but I can't find him. I check cab after cab after cab, and then suddenly, thank God, suddenly, I hear Anil's voice calling me. I run to the voice and open the back of the door where I find my wallet hiding in that groove between the seat and the car frame. Panting, relieved, I get in the car and smile at Anil, who seems confused. It kind of makes me want to hug him. But after 4 hours with Anil, the wallet incident, and my disquieted mind, I tell him it's time to return to the hotel. When we arrive, Anil stops in front of the car with the engine running, and I ask him from the back seat in a happy-go-lucky manner, "Hey, Anil, what's the damage?" He looks at me bewildered like I'm speaking a different language. I said, Sorry. What do I owe you?" He coolly says, 200. So I pounce on it, thinking I got a killer deal. I pull out 200 Nepali rupees, which is less than $1.50, hand it to him, and smiling like an idiot. And Anil looks furious. So I withdraw another 100 rupees, thinking I just gave him the biggest tip of his life. Suddenly, the engine stops, and Anil's voice sharpens. No. 200. My eyes, they feel like they're about to pop out of my head. 200? Like 200 American dollars? No way, man. My hotel didn't even cost $50, and it's a nice hotel. Thinking that $10 per hour is reasonable, possibly even generous, I hand him $40. Then I hear a click. The car doors lock. My heart sinks, and I want to puke from fear. Am I about to get kidnapped? And if I did, would anyone know or care if I disappeared? I hurry and hand over $80 to Anil, which he grabs. I sigh, thinking we're good, go to unlock the door, but then the car door locks again. And this time Anil starts to unbuckle his seatbelt. Is this guy gonna drag me out of his car or strangle me through the headrest? Before he can make a move, I crumple up a $1 bill and say, Fine, here's $100. That freezes him for a moment. And instead of handing the bill to him, I drop it in the footwell of the passenger seat. Anil bends over, center console, and he reaches for the bill. With his back finally to me, I unlock the door, run out, sprint through the hotel, up floor flights of stairs, and into my room. Fearing Anil is in the stairwell, I hold still with my ear to the door. All I can hear is my heart pulsing and my Adam's apple getting clogged in my throat. A few minutes pass with the sounds of traffic outside. I crawl to the window and peer over. Anil's cab is gone. The saga might be over, but I'm just drenched with guilt. Was I taking advantage of Anil? Was Anil taking advantage of me? I whip up my phone and check Bhaktapur and Monkey Temple day trip prices. Turns out, my initial guess was spot on. A full day ride costs $40. A sprite of relief and dignity bursts through, but that's quickly plugged by regret and anger. How did I end up here, traveling alone in my mid-30s? And how come I still feel like that little boy trying to connect and not feel lost and alone in life? Sitting on the bed, I put my head in my hands to block my emotional momentum from running away. Reminding myself that my Himalayan trek for self-realization begins in 24 hours slows my breathing and heart rate enough to hear a different voice in my head. It's a voice that reminds me of how I could be sitting at home, but instead took this risk to go halfway across the world and experience something few ever get to. Sure enough, in the upcoming years, I start to feel more and more whole just on my own. And it is in Nepal that I reach a new peak. But it's not only the one by foot, it's on the inside. And even as I move on to the next adventure, I continue trekking up that inner mountain, the greatest one I will ever climb.
Give it up for Jonathan Grinstein.